I'm going to share with you the 15 successful secrets of the top 1%. What this means is I'll give you the insight into what makes a millionaire a millionaire. But I'll go even further than that. I've been fortunate enough to make millions of dollars in my mid 20s. I've worked really hard, but I've also been incredibly blessed in my life. Because of that, I've had the opportunity to connect with some of the most respected people. I'm talking about men who are 50 and retired, developers, lawyers, doctors, professionals from all walks of life. The reason I'm telling you this is because what I'm about to share are lessons I've learned from my own journey, achieving a respectable level of success, but also from observing those who operate at the top of their industry. So without further ado, let's dive in. But before we begin, all of these are high level life lessons that you will need to apply. But I know many of you want an actionable steps. What to do, what to avoid, and how to start making money online this year. After watching this video, I recommend checking out my YouTube videos where I break down the best and the worst business models along with a formula to determine what might work best for you and your unique skill set. Now let's get into the 15 success secrets. 1. The women you choose is your most important decision, at least for men. I can't speak for women. Outside of work, the thing that consumes the most time from us are women, chasing women, having experiences with different women, being single, spreading your wings, and going around clubs. And let me be clear, there's nothing wrong with that. I've been through that. Enjoy your life, but it is undeniably a distraction if you want to build a bright future. The best thing you can do and you can have is an incredible woman by your side. Yet most of the men choose a wrong woman. Some picks women who are too turbulent. Some choose based purely on looks. Here's the truth. Looks fade, attraction fades. I've met some beautiful women in the world. 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 have seen them. And behind every one of them is a man who have been with her for years. If you have a grand ambition, you need a strong supportive partner, someone who understands your drive and provides a safe, nurturing environment at home. High-level men don't respect a man just because he has a trophy wife. If she lacks social intelligence, if she can't hold a conversation at a dinner table, what does that say about you? So for the man watching, but also shouting out to the women, I understand, right? And you need to understand that the most important decision you ever make is the woman you choose to stand beside you. Second, everyone deserves an opinion. Not everyone deserves a say. Here's something I tell people all the time. Everyone have an opinion. Not everyone deserves a say. If I'm asked about something I don't know enough about, I'll say I don't have an information opinion on that. I don't know. I can't make a judgment on that. It's not in my profession. I don't have the experience to speak to. And this could apply to your parents, your friends, and even business partners. I've always listened to opinions in my business, but not everyone gets a say. Don't let other people's opinion cloud your inner direction. Next is buy assets, not liability, when you make money. When the top 1% makes money, especially in the lump sum from selling a business, a big contract, they buy assets. Why? You are your biggest liability. In your first 10 to 20 years in business, there's a high chance you spend that money, whether through lifestyle, inflation, midlife crisis, or bad decisions. So instead of hoarding cash, buy physical gold, buy real estate, homes, commercial properties, equities in businesses. These are harder to sell impulsively than stocks or crypto, which you can liquidate with one click. Secure your wealth first, then later you can buy the fun things. Alright, number 4. What is practical, not sexy. The rich people I know didn't build flashy startups. They made money in boring traditional industries, anything from B2B services, factories, e-commerce. There are shipping logistics companies, import and export, licensing softwares to corporations, right? Timber, commodities. They found market inefficiencies and did 3% better. 5th, the morning sets your tone for the day. I know millionaires and billionaires who wake up at 6 a.m. I know some who wakes up at 10, 11. The time isn't the key, it's the routine. Some needs early workout before the office. Other likes me, likes to sleep in until 10. Well, because my team is based around the globe. So my morning routine is I'll wake up, I get myself prepared, I go get some sunlight, I stretch for 30 minutes, I also meditate for 10 minutes, I go get breakfast. It doesn't need to be complex. You just need to be consistent. That is the key. 6, the less you talk, the more they listen. Successful people speak less. In negotiations, never be the first to name a price. In a high-stakes situation, silence is power. They'd rather listen, analyze the room, get a perspective. The quieter you are, the more weight your word carries. 7th, pick the right opportunity at the right time. A mistake I see on YouTube is don't do what someone says, do what they do. That's stupid. If a 10-year-old industrial veteran says, if I started today, I'll do X, and you should, as a beginner, copy what they do now? No, of course not. Success is about doing things in the right order. In 30 years, you should be able to make a call and raise 5 million overnight based on reputation. Right now, focus on building credibility. Timing is everything. Number 8, discipline over motivation. Motivation is like a runner's high. It's fleeting. Discipline is what keeps you going when your motivation fails. If you only work when you're inspired, you will never last. Number 9, invest in nice and amazing assets. Wealthy people don't get rich by chasing hype. People buy assets early and hold them for decades. Prime real estates in London, New York, Paris, LA, Hong Kong, Canada, Australia, own them for 10 to 20 years. Iconic collectibles, rare license plates, hotels, and arts. These aren't exciting investments. You won't see 1,000% return, but you will never lose the money. The generation of assets is so important. Things that appreciate steadily and give you unshakable collateral. Start small, but start early. 10. If you sleep on a win, you wake up on a loss. Winning isn't a one-time thing. It is a continuous process. I made my first million at the age of 25. Most people in that position would buy a Lambo, would lease a penthouse. They act like they've made it. Then they crash. Keeping wealth is harder than earning it. You gotta celebrate the wins, but also never stop grinding. 11th, building relationship with banks early. I hate banks, but you will need them. Create financing, business acquisitions, real estate, equity deals. You will always need them. You want premium banking so that you don't have any transfer wires, headaches. You can have instant liquidity and credit line. Normally, banks treat transaction that's over 1 mil like you're a criminal. So you might need a private bank. They make your life so much easier if you have the right bank and the right RM. To do that, you really need to learn financing at a very early on. I read about banking books when I was 18 before I even needed them, right? Credit line is the most important thing you can ever get, and make sure you have a credit card and learn how to use credit wisely. 12. Keep your circle small. You can have 1,000 acquaintances, but only 3 to 5 confidants. Why? Few people can keep up with your pace, right? The more you share, the more risk you create. My rule is never tell someone something you wouldn't want to broadcast. Network widely and wisely, because you got to build trust with those who you really want to tone in and narrow down. 13 is to have radical responsibility. If your marriage fails, it's your fault. If your business fails, it's your fault. If you are injured, your team or your downline or sidelines, your fault. Blaming externals is stagnation. Owning everything is growth. Number 14, work like new money and act like old money. The hunger for new money, the grind, the innovation, take risks. Wisdom of the old money, because you want to be discretion about it, you want to build legacy, planning, you want to have financial literacy. When I was 24, I slipped into new money, habits before building and learning about wealth. But my values are always old money, low in debt, generational asset, quiet confidence, and got to have the balance between the two. 15th, you won't change the world, but you can make it slightly better. I'm tired of world changers. Apple didn't change the world. If iPhone vanished, we will adapt to Samsung in a week, right? Not to say I don't like Apple. If you go back, I'm very inspired by Steve Jobs. But a sushi chef sharpening his knife for 40 years makes a meal slightly better. A waiter serving with pride brightens someone's day. So we need to understand that. Focus on the mastery, right? Not the shenanigans. You want to focus on mastering one skill set, and you want to double down on that. Private victories leads to public victories. That $60 million jet, build on thousands of unseen sacrifices, right? Just like a boxer, a champion or win equals many years of private pain that no one is seeing. A CEO IPO moment is maybe 1 hour, but it's a decade of 80 hours a week, because there's no shortcut. After 10 years, mastery looks effortless. People think it's natural talent. The truth is, the first 5 years are clunky. The first 3 years, you're bad. The 5th year to the 7th year, you're competent. Year 10 and up, you make it look easy. So pick one thing and stay for a decade. And my final thought, these aren't secrets, right? They're laws. You can rewatch and apply them. And with that, I'm always rooting for you.